Hello everybody, welcome back. So it's been a bit of a hiatus for me, taking a bit of time out, but I'm excited to try and bring you a new short series. I don't know actually how long this one's going to go on. That will depend on a number of factors which are out of my control. But we're going to have a go at agoraphobic engineering with a difference. So let me pull this up on the screen for you there. I know it's a bit small, I'm sorry about that. I'll try and zoom in for you. So this is the scenario by Jonathan. Thank you, Jonathan, I think. Yeah, the idea is you start on this asteroid with a complete base, although it's basic, but you can't go outside. Now, I'll read through the blurb here because it's quite a complex scenario. So let me just scroll down a bit and then I can zoom in for you. Okay, so you can obviously read that. The start is used for agoraphobic engineering with a few small changes to make it less painful. Well, we're going to soon change that. So there are quite a few mods that come with it. You get a couple of data pads which explain the basics, but that's basically just what's in the Steam here. You will spawn in a spacesuit because other games you play you have a spacesuit and that's default, so we can cheat using the spectator cam and creative mode to just temporarily spawn in a med center so that we can actually take our suit off. Now, I'm actually not going to do that because I'm going to change a few of the rules. So let's go through his rules first. So you have no spacesuit, it doesn't exist. The player cannot go further than 2 kilometers from the Solitude Station beacon. So that's the first thing I'm going to change. My player, my character, will not be allowed to leave the base unless he's moving into a fully oxygenated environment with his 2 little plushies, which you will see when we start the game. So the idea behind that is if I have a capital ship that's fully oxygenated and I can just walk in, then that's fine. But essentially no cockpits. Not allowed to use a cockpit, not allowed to leave the base in any other way. You don't have third-person view. That's turned off. So it's first-person only. However, because I'm obviously making content for you to watch and I don't want you to be fixed in third person all the time, that would be a bit boring. So what I'm going to do is the player, i.e. me, is not going to be able to leave the base, certainly until we get a capital ship. However, I'm going to allow the spectator camera to be used with restrictions. So the first restriction is the spectator camera cannot go more than 2 kilometers away from the player. And I say the player in case I do manage to get to a capital ship, so we can use it then. Also, I'm going to treat the spectator camera as like a little drone, you know, sort of like we have in real life, a little drone that flies around. So the spectator camera will not be allowed to go into the terrain. It can only fly, you know, in normal places. So that's the main restriction. So he's fixed a depressurization bug, fine. So known issues. There have been reports of hydrogen going missing when connecting ships to the hangar connector. So he's not seen that. I've actually not seen that either. But I did have hydrogen go missing. And I think it's because there is some blurb on, I think it's the wiki. I haven't got it to bring up for you, but it says about hydrogen farms oxygen farms need hydrogen to operate. I'm not quite sure how true that is, but if the oxygen farms are damaged, i.e. the glass is not there, then I think they leak hydrogen. At least in my test playthrough, that seemed to be the case. Now, I might be completely wrong, it might have been something else, but I certainly did seem to lose a lot of hydrogen. Okay, so that's the blurb over and done with. The blurb over and done with. This is the scenario. You're welcome to have a go at it yourself. It is undoubtedly one of the most difficult scenarios I've played. So I'm going to be putting a couple of mods in and taking a couple of mods out. Let me start a new game and I'll go through them with you. So it's community content and there. So we can customize a small amount of it to start with. So I'm going to change that to Agoraphobic Engineering YouTube, just for my own reference. And we're in survival. We can't change any of the other settings in it yet. And I have already liked it. We'll like it again, just because we can. So give me a few moments to start that up, and I will bring you back in a second. Okay, so here we are, sitting on a couch. Let's get up to the... Ooh, okay, threw me halfway across the room. So this is our little room, and you will be able to see in a second, my helmet is open, so I'm going to leave that for a minute. We'll come back to that. Let me just quickly give you a walk around. So this is our little hangar. That's controlling the solar panels. These things, as far as I recall, are empty. Yep. Completely empty. So, gravity generator obviously is very important, but I don't think I need all the way up there. So, oops, 4.5. Let's reduce that a little bit. I'm only going to be walking around in here anyway. Probably even reduce it further. So I mentioned I've had a test playthrough, and I know for a fact we start off with nothing except some tools and some data pads, which I'll get in a second. He's done quite a clever setup with this space in here. So those hangar doors there are controlled, or control the depressurize on these fans. And I will just go and get those tools now. Okay, so these just give you basically the rules, what I've just been through. And this one is GPS for Earth, which we don't need at the moment. I'm just going to leave it there for now. But one thing immediately that needs rectifying, this door is broken. So although it's airtight, we need 2 computers and some other stuff, but essentially 2 computers. So the first thing I do is look around. We've got various bits and pieces here. There are 5 computers in that, and we're extremely unlikely to ever use that button. So okay, so that should make it functional. They are all switched off currently, and that's all controlled by the automation. So I'm going to use that as our components initially, so it's the only place we got, and we're not going to be using a drill because we can't go outside, so get rid of that as well. Right, so before I go any further, what I want to do is I want to just save the game, and then we're going to exit the game, and I'm going to load the game up here. There we go. So you can see my test playthrough there. So this is the one we want, and we want to edit the settings. The first thing to do is the mods, and he's actually made a really good job of putting in pretty much everything that you're likely to need. Build vision, build info, bullet trails, dangerous decompression. Now I'm not going to use that because I'm just not going to be going in and out of any doors or anything, so there's no point in cluttering up with a mod that's not going to be used. And the same for darkish nights. I think the nights are dark enough as they are, but what I will do is I'll put a different skybox, can't think of the word, skybox, So that's okay. Speed 150 is okay. No suits. I'll leave it in, but actually I don't think I need to worry about that. I don't know what the sight on the rifles is. Again, probably not going to be using it, so I don't think I'm going to be in a situation where I'm going to be using a rifle because we're not allowed to go outside. So that can come off. Refill station we don't need because it's now part of the game anyway. That's fine. Build colors. Yeah, leave that in. I don't know what the grid power chart is. Never used that. And survival less likely. Now, I took this off in my test playthrough. I'm not sure that it really helps. I'll leave it in for now while I go away and check the details of it. Long range searchlight, probably irrelevant. So we're going to add, where are we? The obligatory colourful icons, because I just think it makes it look so much better. We're going to add improvised engineering, so that I can manipulate grids with my hands. The Milky Way skybox, and I think that's about it. I'm not seeing anything else. Okay, so let's give that a whirl. In the advanced settings, you could change the inventory sizes and things, but I want to keep it pretty much as it was designed, so we'll keep a day duration of 2 hours. The only thing I want to take off down here, we don't want temporary containers. I think the rest stays pretty much the same. We're not using progression, that would be silly. Definitely want unknown signals. And I'll leave the inertia tensor and things on defaults. So I think that's pretty good to go. So let's load that up. Okay, so we're all loaded back in, and I think as far as in here is concerned, we can get rid of these. Now, I know it's useful to have a bit of extra storage, but I don't think I'm going to need to use those. I think space is going to be the premium, so if I have anything, I want it to be connected through the conveyor system anyway. So yeah, that's that. Now, when we close this door, that action initiates a purging. And if you can see in there, the lights have changed. There's a warning light, and it sucked all the air out. So that's important because if you look in here at our oxygen tank, we've only got 4.3% and it is diminishing. So putting the oxygen back in the tank gives me a little bit of extra time. And likewise the battery, where are we? Current output 528, current input 159. So we're running out of power and we're running out of oxygen. And over there you can see your parcel has arrived. So if I just go into here, we've got a searchlight. Let's put that back on the terminal. And where is it? Over here. So we can zoom in. You can just about read that. Again, I'll zoom it in for you. But it says ship to, it's Jonathan, smiley face. The arse end of nowhere, 10,000 kilometers away. So we are actually 10,000 kilometers away from Earth. If item is not collected within 24 hours of delivery, package will be returned to depot. Thank you for choosing jungle.com. I can't imagine how he came up with that name. And then this one, which is even further away. Warning, packaging will begin self-disposal. I think that says. Procedure. 5 seconds after item is removed. Do not attempt to dispose of packaging. Stand clear of packaging. So that's basically a warning that once we actually undock, this whole thing is going to explode. And believe me, it does. So if I go into, no, not there, let's come out of that one. We go into the K menu. I think we're going to have to change a few things, but anyway, for now, we have got an antenna on the base, so we're just going to call that base. We don't confuse it later on. It's currently set to 5 kilometers, which is fine for what we're doing at the moment. So we can switch that on, and then we can shift K to the shipping pallet. So we want the terminal, we want the remote, and actually before I do that, what I'm going to do is, these are currently switched off, so I'm going to switch those on, and then we're going to go to the remote, and you'll see why now. Okay, so I can just swing my head over that way. So we're controlling the thing itself, and as you can see, the thing itself is maneuverable. So I want to face it away from the base. And do we have a camera? We do not have a camera. Well, I think the first thing I'll do is remove that, because I don't want to be pressing that by mistake. Camera, there. Okay, so as soon as I undock, we'll see just get some distance. Yeah, and that's why you want to make a hasty retreat. Okay, so now we've got our little miner ship. Before I do anything, I'm going to get some stone. Doesn't really matter where you get it from at this stage of the game. So I think having those engines on is going to get a little noisy, unfortunately. Top left hand corner, you can see the drills are now filling up. I'm going to get as much as I can. I think that's must be full. Line's not going up any further, and it didn't switch off, so we got an event controller. Only one event controller apparently. So we'll have that drills full. Actually no. I think we're going to leave that because I want to check. Yeah, definitely only one event controller. I would rather use that for the shutdown startup procedure, I think. She's a bit heavier now. That's a tight squeeze. There we go. And of course it kicks me out. Right, before we go any further, let's switch off our two antennas. So this is, let's put that up there so we can find it in the menu. And that's already off. Okay, that's interesting. So that needs changing. We don't want to be switching that off. Right, so now we have to press this button to close the hangar door and then wait. And once the doors are shut, it will repressurize in there. Waiting, waiting, waiting. There we go. So this is our little ship, as you can see. So quite a lot of cargo space. It's got a large tank on it. The ore detector is no good to me there, so I'm going to move that. Oh, and it's set to 25 as well. That's definitely no good. So let's rename that as well. Was it USM-1, I think? And we'll copy it. Sure, what looked like there was a load of oxygen being lost there, didn't it? Yeah, because we're going to be using radio spectroscopy, I want to move it into a better position. Anything in the cockpit? No. Does the cockpit hold anything up? It's not giving me a red line, so we're not allowed to use cockpits, so that can come off. Like that. And I think the first thing I'll do is put the ore detector on because stick that on there. Yeah, I don't want to lose the components for it. Okay, so that should be off, that is. Alright. I think everything else can stay pretty much as it is. We've got a camera up there for the front view. But I think I would like a better one for the spectroscopy. So, what do I actually have on me? I got a few bits. Let's put a few blocks in. We'll go to that one. Pick up the color. So I think. Oh no, that's not right. Let's set that up. Not right. And then one of those and one of those, I think. Right, let's try that again. So we've got a camera on the top, so I'm going to slope this down. Something like that. And then what do I want then? Can't see a thing, can we? No. What can we do there? We could do one of those, but it doesn't really cover that up, does it? I guess it'll do. Right, so the other thing I want to consider is later on we're going to be getting hold of some unknown signals. So I'm going to bring those out further. Maybe that one. Yeah, I think that would be better. And we'll do it in white because we can. Now I believe we can't put anything in front of the ore detector or it doesn't work with radio spectroscopy. So I'm going to take those off again. I don't like exposed gyros. What can we do there? Oops, I'm stuck. Yeah, I know. I'm spending far too much time doing this, and meanwhile we're running out of oxygen. Yeah, let's concentrate on other stuff, shall we? So, another camera. Oh, wow, I had all the bits. So this is USM-1 RS. Now, we're going to have to extend that out forwards because if you put a screen directly in front of it, you can't read the screen. So, yeah, there's that. Right, I'm going to go back to this one. That'll fit in there now. So bring that out to there, and then what do we want then? Maybe that. And then an LCD, transparent, and hope that that's the right way around. Aha! By Jove, I think we got it. Okay, so just rename that USM-1S. And we'll sort that out when we get control again. I think that's it. I think that's sufficient. I would like to put a grabber on though. How can we do that? It's going to have to be on that level there, isn't it? Oh, that's way too big. We have limited options here. So we need to come out a little bit further. Then what? Not sure that's going to work actually. Might need to change that one there for a half block so that we can get some landing gear on it. Okay, let's leave those there for now because we might build from them. Wow, can't believe I had all the components for that. Okay, so now to repressurize, you just simply close this door and my lights off, and we're not going to fly anywhere just yet because the antennas are off, but we need to, what do we need to do? We need to go to the LCD and set that for amps, radio spectrometry, transparent, and I'm going to turn the brightness down because I always find these things way too bright. Something like that. Okay, so we go to antennas. We're going to increase that to something we can actually get to asteroids with. Okay, so turn that on. That's already on. And I need to check connector lock unlock. Yeah, so that is the startup. Can't spell. Startup. Shut down. Okay, so it's set for the connector and the actions. Obviously battery on recharge or off recharge. Right, so it's doing a timer for lock group, whatever that does. Stockpile that. Lights off. Ejectors off. Basic task off. I don't know what basic task. I'm not sure what that's going to be used for. Right, so this is, we definitely don't want to be switching the antenna off. Drills off is irrelevant. Okay, on off, don't know what that is. And so that's toggle that off when we dock. And that's a lot. Okay. Alright, so came out of the wrong one. Remote control. Control. And here we have, I need to change some of these. This doesn't work for me. So we got lights. Spotlight, spotlight. We got a group. Yes. Let's move that down to there. Switch lock. That looks like that's all thrusters. I don't want to be switching all thrusters on and off. We have a group for the back thrust. Yes, braking thrust. It's more like it. Do that, and our ore detector. Where's our ore detector? I don't know why, but when I look at these things, I can never see what I'm looking for. There, ore detector. Okay, so I think we've got everything now. The only thing I haven't got is an auto stop drilling thing. But yeah, well, we'll do that when we get some bits. Right, so let's just check. I've got all this stuff on me. Stone. Yeah, we didn't do anything with that, so we need to get processing a load of that. cargo. Oh, okay. We don't have room for it all. Maybe I should have started processing that sooner. Right, bear with me a second. We'll wait for some of that to get processed. Okay, so that's our cargo empty now, so we're good to go. Alright, so we'll unlock. Hear the engine starting up. Could do turning that down really, couldn't we? That's a bit noisy. I don't know what mod it is that does that, but something. Right, so I also need the other camera on here, don't I? That one. So 5, and then if we switch on the ore detector, you going to give me anything? Please? Right, there we go. So obviously lots of stone. What else have we got? Magnesium, by the look of it. And I think that might be ice there, because I can't move the cursor unfortunately, but we've got a spike everywhere where there is ice. Yeah. So let's not aim directly at the thing. I'm going to turn that off. And pretty good. Okay. So I'm going to switch my braking thrust off and then accelerate over that way. We are full of hydrogen, so that's good. And we got a bit of a trek to go, so I'll bring you back when we get there, because this is a bit noisy. Okay, so I'm going to start slowing down here. Turn my ore detector back on again. So, if you were a piece of ice, where would you be hiding? Let's put my lights on. Is that a hole? That's very dark. Oh, okay. It's kind of a hole. But no ice. Okay. Just hopefully we'll detect something somewhere. seeing any ice. I think it lied to me. There's Earth over there. And good job I set it to 20 because we are 15, nearly 16 kilometers away from our base, which I think is on the top of that big rock. Right. Well, we need to find some ice. Be careful because there's a few floating bits around here as well. Unknown signal that I can't do anything about. Aha, that looks like ice to me. Okay, let's mark this entrance then. So we can find it next time. Okay, so on the second hotbar here we've got, don't need that. That's braking thrust. That's don't need that on there. We've got just about everything. Return home. And ejectors. That's what we want. Must have some sorters somewhere. Stone. Okay. Wireless stone. Good. Let's grab that quick. I would normally take the stone, but at this distance away from the base, I think we'll leave the stone here and get plenty of stone back at home. Let's just have the ice, shall we? that's full. Try not to break the ship on the way out. Just going to check down the bottom of the hole in case there's anything else down here. No, nothing. Okay, so we can switch that off and let's get this ice back to base. Just going to put those on just to avoid collisions. Make sure we're clear of the rock. Turn the lights off to save a bit of power. And just wait for the drift to stop. Okay, begin the long journey home. So keeping an eye on my distance, so that's 1 kilometer from the GPS I just made. So we're up to 100 meters per second at 1.7 kilometers. Now I don't know whether we've got the same amount of thrust in the front as we have in the back. Could actually check that. So where are we? Forwards, forwards, backwards, backwards, up, up, down, down, left, left, right, and right. So it looks like we've got 2 in every direction. So same forwards and backwards. So it's going to take me about 1.7 kilometers to slow down. Switch my ejectors off now, and we do have O2 generators, engines obviously. There is no O2 generator on the base as far as I recall, so to convert this into oxygen we're going to have to use the O2 on the ship. In fact, what I will do is, let me just have a look at the station. O2 farms. Yeah, 7 damaged. So I think what we'll do is, we've got a hydrogen tank, 48% filled. I'm going to switch that off. Oops. We're going to fly past our base here. Stop. I turned around because I'm so used to having more thrust at the back. It doesn't apply in this case. Okay, let's try going the right way, shall we? Oh, looks like there's nickel down there. That's nice and easy to access. Gently does it. And we're home. Okay, so O2 generators. So I'm going to switch those on, and then hopefully the ice that we have is, yeah, slowly filling up our oxygen. Because we've got loads of hydrogen anyway, so it's the oxygen that I'm concerned about. And the other thing then is battery. So fully depleted in 3 hours. Now, remember I said I was going to allow myself to use the spectator camera as a drone. So I can give you an overview, take that off, of the little base. So we've got more farms down here, and we know 7 of them are damaged, but they all seem to be actually functional, so I'm guessing that means they need glass. So that's going to be a priority. I think that spotlight could actually come off there, or at least switch it off. I don't think we're going to be using that. And the solar panels are at best slim. So that's going to be something we'll have to do with some urgency, because the only other power I've got is the hydrogen engine on the ship. So now a major problem occurs because you cannot place blocks remotely. So you can place blocks if you're sitting in a cockpit, but I'm not allowed to use cockpits. So that's going to make life interesting. I do have a method, but it's quite complex. So that's going to take a bit of time to build up to. But for now, my main concern is going to be oxygen. So we really need to repair these. And for that, we're going to need a welder ship. Now, fortunately, come out of there. Oh, before I do, let's just switch those antennas off, because they are consuming 80 kilowatts, something like that. So if we're not using them, then I'm just going to try and remember to switch them off, and then try and remember to switch them back on again afterwards. Right, so let me take those out of there, and pop those in. Where should we put them? Out of the way somewhere? Put them in the bed. And I like to have these in some sort of order, and then I can quickly and easily see what I've got. And let's stick those in there. So for now, this is going to be our only container. We do have a survival kit there in case we die, but I'm not planning on dying. And I don't need these chairs. So we can rescue those. I don't need these lockers. I don't really need that couch, but I'll leave it there for now. In here we just have a toilet, which, you know, I don't think I need a door on my toilet because I'm the only person here. So we'll have those components. And those are the two plushies I was talking about there. So if I go in a capital ship, fully oxygenated and something I can walk about in, then they have to go with me. That's the deal. Okay, so nope, that's the wrong place. It goes there. Right, what don't I have? We don't have much steel. Definitely gonna need more of that. Definitely gonna need more of those, but I can't make them. So I guess priority then is going to be a basic assembler. Put that one on there. Basic assembler. Steel plate. Don't really have anywhere convenient because this is all piped in. So I think what I'm going to do, as much as it's a pain in the butt, is I'm going to take this light out, save a bit more power, and then I'm going to put it there. Okay. Take all the components I've got, and then we need 3 motors and 60 computers. And for some reason I've got too many of those. Okay. And we've run out of stuff. So looks like we're okay on silicon. Yeah, fine on silicon, but we're going to need more iron. Okay, so before I can do anything and modify that, we're going to have to do some more mining. There probably are some other bits that I can, like the railing there, I don't need that. But it doesn't give me any motors. I don't really need the planter either, but, you know, we need some home comforts, don't we? Okay, so first things first, antennas. I'm only going to be mining locally, so we'll just have that on 5,000. Switch them both on. Remote. And that one. I think that must be the survival less likely mod, which I left in. I think we'll get rid of that. Right. Take another bite. So this currently is the only docking position we have, and that's something that I will be changing. We need external docking. Oops, survival. Yeah, so that's chewing through. We do have the computers, apparently. And some more steel. Okay, so inset connector is fine. Don't want you in there. And we've still got ice apparently. Inset connector is on the base, so I don't mind that being there really. If we got room, we might as well put it in. And we're not showing through the ice because I'm using the ship. So I'll go and get another load of stone, and then we'll get that processed. Yeah. So right, make sure the antennas are on. They are. Be a bit of a disaster if I launched without them. Okay, I'm going to switch those antennas off again. And I think also we've got all these lights, the exterior lights, interior lights, hangar warning lights, search lights. I'm going to switch that off. Those are the exterior ones. Hangar lights are already off. The warning lights, I'm going to leave those on because I use those to know whether the doors are open or not. And the interior lights are actually in here. So as you can see, it all goes very dark if I switch those off, so we'll leave those on. Right, I think that is the living quarters. Which means these are the hangar. Let's not have fan full on there. We know what an air vent is. Can't spell. Hang. And yeah, we're getting through that oxygen pretty quick, so I think we'll switch on the O2 gens. What we got? Let's redo that. Okay, and then we want ingots. Chuck those in there. And then you can make me a few of those. And maybe 2 of those if you can, because that's a small battery, which might save my life. And we're also going to need some of those at some point. And I think that's about it for the immediate problem. Wow, has it done that already? That was quick. Okay, so we're processing stone. And the ship is currently full of it. I'm going to leave those in there for now because that's actually a handy place to store it. And we'll add those and those. We haven't got any motors. Makes a bit more room in here. And I'm definitely not going to be able to use the drill. So let's basic assembler, disassembling. Let's have the resources back. We can always make it again if we need it. Where's the survival kit gone? There you are. So it's a bit of a pain having to move it over manually, but I don't have the means to change that at the moment, so I'm going to have to keep it that way. Likewise, the kitchen and the bookshelf I don't really have a use for, and I'm pretty sure the event controllers are behind there, so I think we can get rid of those if we want to. Let's see how we go on other components and things first though. Okay, so that's our miner ship empty. I think I'll do one more stone run with it, and then we'll see if we can repair these O2 farms before the sun comes up. In fact, speaking of farms, the sun's not on them now, so we might as well switch them off and save that little bit of power. So, switch these back on again. Still only 5,000, so we can't get carried away. Where are you? Somewhere around here. There you are. Okay, so again, reverse procedure. We'll switch those off to save some power. And then we'll switch those on to burn some ice. Okay, so how are we looking? Yeah, oxygen tank is filling because we're burning that ice. That's good. The hydrogen tank, small hydrogen that's the base, isn't it? So still 48.3, good, so we haven't lost any of that. And that one is trying to stockpile, but this one is switched off, so it can't. But we're 100% full because it's been burning the ice. So the only thing that really is of concern then is this battery, which is 3 hours to full depletion. So, in my test playthrough, I actually took a blueprint of this base, And I did that deliberately because we have to get imaginative if we want to build stuff outside. We can't use remote block placement because we're not allowed to get in a cockpit. So that means the only alternative is blueprints. However, although I blueprinted the base, you cannot do subgrids on the base. So that's a bit of a problem. So my plan is to build the bare minimum of a subgrid in the hangar, which essentially is going to be either a rotor head and something, or a hinge head and something, and put a projector on it. And then with the ship, I'm going to position that where it needs to go. Then through the menu, I can then attach it. And once it's attached, the blueprint, the projector will come on, and then I can load it with a blueprint for what it is that we want to build on it. Quite difficult, quite a long-winded way of doing things, but it's doable. But you're going to get all that in the next episode, because I'm afraid I'm all out of time today. So thank you very much for joining me. Please help along and offer suggestions and things for this playthrough. It's going to be a difficult one. Not being able to leave this little bit here until I can get in a capital ship and go back to Earth 10,000 kilometers away is going to be quite tricky. But I'm looking forward to the challenge, and I hope you're going to tag along with me for it. In the meantime, look after yourselves, take care now, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye.